Hey everyone, David DeHaas from Living Waters, coming to you with yet another live broadcast. And tonight we're going to be talking about the lunar eclipse, the blood wolf moon, and parasites, and why you may have some discomfort, even more so internally, during this time. So if you're joining us for the very first time, a little bit about my background and why I'm here talking to you about your gut health. I used to have a lot of illnesses. I've had everything from severe allergies, severe constipation, severe fatigue, really bad psoriasis, candida fungus, so bad it was actually growing on my feet and up my legs. It was very, very, very painful. And eventually I had cancer. And I went on a mission to figure out how to heal myself. And that resulted, after about 20 years, in a process called the 10-day deep tissue cleanse and healing retreat that we do here in Boise, Idaho. We get people come from all over the world to join us and to get relief. And one of the things that people are always a little bit shocked about and a little bit grossed out about is that they've got parasites. And right now it's really critical to understand that we have, anytime there is a full moon, there is a lot of action that's happening parasitically in your gut. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you, actually, it's going to get pretty graphic. I'm going to show you some actual parasites. We're going to show you parasites that actually came out of people. And so it's actually quite fascinating once you get into this. It may gross you out a bit, some of you, but stay tuned here. It's all good because we want to show you how to heal the body naturally. And that's really what we do is we start with the second brain, as I call it, or some people call it, we want to definitely have a healthy colon. So, by the way, can you guys hear me? I am just doing this a little bit differently tonight. And so I want to make sure that if you can hear me, give me a like or put something in the box down below. Let's see here. Can you hear me? All right. I might have to, you may not be able to hear me. I don't know. Because I'm trying this a little bit differently. And let's see. All right, testing this out here. So, and this screen's frozen. So, well, we'll go ahead. If you can't hear me, I'll redo it. For sure, for sure. Anyway, so that's a little bit about my background. Let's talk about the gut. It's a lunar eclipse, and what happens on full moon, there's a lot of energy. And everyone, David DeHaas from Living Water. Oh, great. All right. So we got Sarah. So, all right. So from the food you eat, if you walk barefoot, if you've been in a public restroom, if you've eaten sushi, and definitely if you've eaten pork, walk barefoot, have pets. If you have pets, you are going to have parasites. And they start out very tiny. Even eating a raw vegan diet or vegetarian diet, if you're eating what you think is a clean diet, you can bite into an apple, for example, or have some kind of a veggie, and there may be parasites that you can't see. The microscopic, they're very tiny, but they get in the body, they get into the digestive tract, and you feed them, and they grow big, and they'll grow. You're going to see here in a moment how big they get, and it's quite amazing. So what you don't understand is that things like this are because you don't understand what's going on underneath in your gut. And so this is a perfect textbook, perfect way to look at your gut and your intestinal tract and your digestive system. But this is really not reality, because over your lifespan, you have emotional stuff happening. And eventually the gut gets very twisted and distorted, and eventually you get constipated. Now you've got old rotting fecal matter sitting in there, and these bugs are enjoying themselves. So what's happening? We're having the full moon, and these little critters are going to be laying thousands of eggs. They're really screaming. They have their own energy. They're beings, okay, just like you and I. And the reason why the hospitals, the police departments, the fire departments will be busy in these next couple of days is because the parasites are wreaking havoc in your body, and you're basically not feeling yourself, and you may do weird things that you'd never do. You may lash out at people. You may not sleep well. Everyone's different, of course, but these little critters are laying eggs in their gut. This is actually showing the microvilli in the gut, and it's a great depiction of what's going on. But you've been feeding them for years. For those of you who've already had your gallbladder out or your appendix out or maybe your tonsils out, that is a sign of a constipated system. And when you're constipated and this detoxification pathways are not open, in other words, this bowel's not open, then you are going to eventually, and even if they are, you're still going to get parasites and you're going to harbor in there. But this is what parasite will look out when there's our colonic bed. This is a viewing tube. There's a little critter right there. This story behind this lady had severe allergies. She had vertigo. I don't know how she even drove here to see me. She had to brace herself against the wall. She did her 10-day cleanse and had amazing change. The symptoms went away. The headaches, the severe fatigue, the vertigo, the allergies, and stuff she'd been dealing with for a long time. I think something like 15, 20 years, long time. And she'd tried all kinds of stuff. She'd been hospitalized at one time. Did our 10-day cleanse, and I says, look, you probably still have some more parasites coming. Don't just stop. And I know you feel wonderful. I know you feel like a brand new person, but these parasites bury themselves so deeply and intensely. If you don't keep the maintenance going, they're not going to leave. So we actually have tools that we can actually, if you're watching this long distance, we have tools that we can begin a process with you. But we do know for a fact that to get these parasites gone long term, you got to do a process. And that's that process that we came to know that works well is our 10-day process. And but there's also tools. There's herbs and there's devices that you can put that the bugs don't like to help get these guys a scat. So that gal completely changed her world. But the rest of my story here is these particular parasites didn't come she didn't come back to us for another year. And all of a sudden she started having more inflammation, swelling, and symptoms started rising. And I said, look, you've got to come back and just keep this little maintenance thing going. And this is what came out on the fifth day. So the critters, even though she had tons of these come out before, they bury themselves in, you got 30-some feet of intestinal tract plus, and they bury themselves in that mucosal lining. They do not want to leave. They're all buried in here, enjoying life, partying. This gal, this next video here, this slide, she spent about $72,000 trying to get rid of parasites to no avail. She was seeing a naturopathic doctor. They told her had parasites for 4 years. She's taking about 100 to 150 capsules per day. And this is what came out on 15th day 15. And the doctors were absolutely shocked that this came out. She collected this at home in the toilet. She had a little colander here you see behind her. She collected this. Anyway, feeling so much better now. This is roundworms. And people always ask me, well, how do I get these? Like I mentioned earlier, if you're walking barefoot, just life, we get infected. You don't have to leave the United States to get these parasites, guys. They're here. They're everywhere. They outnumber us. As I mentioned, if you're eating raw sushi, if you're eating raw food, high chance you're going to get these parasites. Here's a good old tapeworm. And tapeworms, we have a program on our pulse frequency machine that are specific to these different parasites. And so what's really helpful when we are doing the colonics and we're doing the herbs and we're doing all the other stuff and we add the frequencies, and especially the tapeworms, just about everybody that came through, we've seen have tapeworms come out of them. And we've seen tapeworms from a few inches to as big as we figure about 26 feet. It comes off in pieces, so it's kind of hard to judge, but we figure somewhere around 20, 26 feet. One lady came out, or it could have been multiple, but it was pretty long. It's pretty amazing. Feels so much better. I can't remember what that particular gal I'm thinking of right now, her symptoms, but a lot of fatigue. Interestingly enough, now here's a ropeworm. It's a little blurry. But these guys are in your gut. There's a hookworm. Now, what's interesting, you can go get tested for these. The doctors will have a test, and they'll do a stool sample. I just had a gal call me this afternoon, and they did a stool sample, but she's got a lot of issues, pretty typical, we see all the time. They gave her some labels, told her to go see a gastroenterologist, but definitely, they said, we think you have parasites, but the first test didn't show it. We're doing another one. But a lot of times, the parasites will not come out in the stool. They just don't like, hey, let's just jump on the stool and float out of the body. They want to stay in the body and keep eating and living. It's a great environment. It's a great home for them. So they stay there, and don't have a picture of liver flukes here, but we see that a lot as well. So you think about this 30-some feet of intestinal tract, and a lot of surface area the size of a tennis court or a basketball court, quite large. And so to get this out of here, we got to apply all the different modalities that we do here at Living Waters. I'm going to put a link down below. We have a webinar. I'm not going to spend the whole time going through this deeply, but most of you are constipated. Some of you don't know it. So if you've got definitely, this person here is probably going to have a gallbladder issue, if not already. They'll probably eventually have this appendix taken out because this is so impacted. And this muscle is not able to move the fecal matter out of the body properly. Properly have bowel movements. You should eat. You should go to the bathroom. So you should be having 2 to 3 bowel movements per day. For those of you who are going once every 2 days, 3 days, once a week, that's just a colon cancer waiting to happen or some other issue in your body. Because what you don't know is that every organ and part in your body has a nerve connection. I'll blow this up a little bit more. So I hope you get, oh, darn it. I've been showing you these and not, I didn't share my screen. David, doggone it. Someone should have said something. Buggers. I said talking to myself. Too funny. All right. Okay. Dang it. You guys didn't see the bugs. I feel so bad. You've been gypped. You've been robbed on this free broadcast. How about that? Them good old guys. Can you guys hear me? I hope you can hear me. So, all right. So here they are. They're buried in the mucosal lining. This is the villi of your gut. This is how you absorb vitamins and minerals here. And these are the parasites I was talking about earlier, and I'm going to show them to you. That's hilarious. I didn't turn on my share screen. This is the gal I told you had vertigo and severe allergies, and this is not spaghetti. This is a big old nest, and she had a bunch of these come out. And this is the one I told you about. This again, she spent $70,000-ish over 4 years, taking a lot of supplements and a lot of herbs, trying to get rid of the parasites. And when she applied, our process is very encompassing. We're doing colonics, you're doing pulse frequency medicine, we're doing energy work, you're doing mind mapping, we're doing foods and juices, you're taking herbs, you're using a thing called a zapper. You're taking all these different supplements, and when we apply all these together, that's really where the sweet spot is to getting rid of these. When you get rid of these, your whole world changes. The brain fog goes away. You start getting clarity. You start thinking, boom, boom. I mean, relationships get better because you've got rid of this energy. Now, this is a roundworm. So much better when I blow it up, isn't it? There's our tapeworm, okay? As I mentioned earlier, this can be anywhere from inches to, usually we'll see pretty often, 2 feet to very often 6 feet. And I told you one time some 26 feet. There's the ropeworm. And there is our hookworm, okay? So there's how big your intestinal tract is. That's a big intestinal tract to take care of, if you think about it. But this is what I want to show you. So every organ and part in your body has a nerve connection to that organ. So if you see over here on the right side of your screen, okay, this is the left side of your body. So here's left kidney. If you've got kidney issues, you've probably got some impaction here. Left leg, left groin, left peritoneum, left pelvis, gonad, diaphragm, spleen, left arm, left ribs, left breast, pleural cavity, heart, lungs. If you're having breathing problems, you've got to look at what's going on here. We very commonly have people come in with asthma or maybe even on oxygen, and we'll be able to reduce how much they have to rely upon that in just 10 days. It's actually incredible how quickly it changes. This is the brain area. So if you're having headaches, this gal called today, she's having a severe headaches. Our colon therapist, Chandra, she had migraines every month on the full moon. My wife says, well, you've got a parasite issue going on. And sure enough, she had a lot of parasites come out. And then she had 144 migraines, so 12 years, one every month, put her out for a week. And now she hasn't had a headache since 2013 when she did her 10-day cleanse. This is the right side. So right ear, right neck, right shoulder, upper lung, lower lung, pleural cavity, low back area, eyes, ears, connection for everything. So the problem is over time, a little blow up there. You can probably see that picture a little bit better, right? Those are all the connections. And there's neurons in here that fire these nerves. So neurons are like cell phones. And so think of a cell phone covered with poop. It's not going to get a signal. So the neurons in your gut, if they're not functioning properly, you're going to have an issue, okay, or a dis-ease. You're going to be not at ease. 90% of your serotonin is made in the transverse colon. So if you're not happy, if you're not having the mood meter's not swinging for you, let's look to the transverse colon. So here's what's going on, guys. You have these severe distortions in your gut. It gets twisted and distorted. In the webinar that I'm going to put down below here in this link, Dr. Kenita Holmes talks about this. She talks about why this is. Of course, it's all due to emotion and stress, and things aren't being released properly. The only way you're going to fix this with colon hydrotherapy, it's the only way you're going to ever get this well again, in my opinion. So, because what we're doing when you're colon hydrotherapy is you're hydrating. And when you're hydrating, you're dissolving all the old stuff, plus you're pushing against that muscle. And so think of this as like going to the gym, okay? And you're going to do a little workout, right? We're going to work out, we're going to do some little push-ups. So colon hydrotherapy is literally like that workout, just doing that push-up. As water goes in, the muscle wants to push back. When we do that, we dissolve all that. Guess what? These neurons are going to start firing and wiring properly. And when we do that, great things happen, as I mentioned earlier. But we got to get rid of these parasites. Here, Discover Magazine did a great article about do parasites rule the world? And they really do affect us. Here's some more pictures. These came out of clients here at Living Waters. We name them all. No, I'm just kidding. We really don't. But there you can see some more of those. And there's probably some Candida yeast going on. And there you go, some more rootworms. So this person was experiencing some of these symptoms. And so if you're having any of these headaches, pain, irritability, fatigue, gas, severe bloating, even vertigo, you may want to investigate doing the 10-day process. So anyway, come on tonight to give you a little education about what's going on right now energetically, because these parasites are flipping out, they're laying eggs, and you may be flipping out. So it's an interesting time. I just ask any of the emergency people at the hospitals. They'll tell you when their busiest time is. It's always full moon. Always full moon. And I know this because I've done enough presentations and I've met these people and they said, yeah, you're right, David. And here's what's going on. So if you want to know more about what we do, you can give us a call. Hey, if you do like this stuff, do give us a like, give us a share to your friends. Anybody who knows that's having severe issues. We just had Megan. I did video on her a few days ago. It's posted on our YouTube channel. But Megan came to us, 32 years old, for 10 years, been having severe issues. Shockingly, she was able to have 2 babies, but she had 2 colonoscopies. They told her it was all good. She had CT scans, MRIs. Her dad's actually a physician. She'd done a lot of stuff over the 10 years. They gave her, they told her it was all in her head. She had depression. So they gave her meds for that. She did that for a little while. That wasn't working. Then they said, oh, it's hormones. Here, try this. Oh, for your severe fatigue, let's give you some Adderall. That maybe give you some more energy. That didn't work so well. And now, and of course, she was severely constipated. And a lot of people don't look to how badly that affects the body. And most people, I would submit to you, are very constipated. And so anyway, we had 10 years of watching people come in and do our 10-day TPISH process and having amazing miracles. Visit our YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below. Everything from Crohn's, colitis, IBS, irritable bowel. We've had cancer people come in, and people have improved. And what we want to do basically is give the body the ability to start absorbing the nutrition. So when you go back to your doctor, what we've done is kind of laid the groundwork. And if you need to still go back to a doctor, everything's going to work so much better. And usually we work a lot with a lot of the naturopaths, and even some of the cancer doctors are sending people to us now because they know that after they get that chemo and stuff in, that now's the time to get that lymphatic tissue moving and get that cleaned out. So see some pretty cool things. So the question is, do we work with doctors? Yes, we do. We like to basically prep your body. So if you still need to go see them, there's everything that they're going to give you, especially all the nutritional supplements you're going to take. If you're going to a chiropractor, all that's going to work better. And so anyway, if you have any questions, give us a holler. You guys make it a blessed day. I think we're in halftime now of the playoffs, so hopefully you visit us during halftime. You guys make it a blessed day. I'm David DeHaas from Living Waters, livingwaterscleanse.com. We'll see you tomorrow.